Hello and welcome. My name is Jevgenij Rusakov and you're watching TVP World interview from Vilnius. 1 year after the Baltic States disconnected from the BRELL energy ring and synchronized with the continental European grid, the region's long-planned energy transition has entered a new phase. To reflect on what has changed, what challenges remain, and what this means for Europe's broader energy security, we are joined by Arūnas Molis, Adjunct Professor at the University of Bologna. Arūnas, glad to see you in our studio. Thank you for joining us today, sir.
Thank you for inviting. It's my pleasure.
Before we go to our main topic, I would like you to ask this. In the backdrop of today's situation in Iran, how would all this reflect on energy sector, on energy market?
Well, it's a very good question, and we see already, in the first days that it already affected the energy market, and first of all, it affected in the terms of price. Most probably the delivery and the security of supply did not suffer so much so far, but the effect on price was visible from the very first hours. So the price of oil increased by 10–15%. So first of all, it increased, then it went down. And we see even a more remarkable increase in the price of the natural gas, because, the region is also important for the natural gas deliveries. But I guess that, the markets will stabilize themselves, I guess, in the nearest future, as the region is not the single one which supplies the natural gas and oil to the global markets. So yes, there will be impact on prices, and those prices most probably will have the impact on inflation in general. So there will be an impact, but let's hope that this is a short term.
Okay. Anyway, we'll see how the things turn out. Okay, now coming back to our main topic, BRELL. So could you please briefly explain to our viewers what BRELL was, and what has changed after Lithuania, Latvia and Estonia decided to leave BRELL?
Well, the three Baltic states left the so-called UPS-IPS system and the legal agreement between Belarus, Russia, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania. Therefore, it's an acronym of BRELL, means actually the first letters of all 5 states. So we left the system a year ago, in February 2025. And since the early 2000s, we were legally binded to this treaty, which meant actually that all those 5 countries of BRELL agreed that they're going to share the so-called balancing services and reserve services among themselves, actually. So if something happens on generation in any other country, another country was obliged to provide the support and to provide some generation capacities in order to mitigate those risks which are related maybe to the accident or maybe to another reason why the generation capacity could go out of order. So since the last year, we are out of this system and we joined the European continental system, and now we are receiving the same legal obligations and also factual technical assistance in case of a need from the European countries. So our idea basically was to leave the system, which is kind of a Soviet legacy, where we were in the same system with our current, let's tell, geopolitical opponents, which are difficult to trust, and join the system which we can trust in.
Here's the question then, why did the Baltic states stay in this union, if I can say so, for so long?
Well, first of all, I would say that synchronization with continental European networks, of course, we, in a simplified way, call it synchronization, but basically it engages a lot of projects. We had to implement the interconnection projects, we had to implement some generation-related projects and many others, which also costed a lot, actually. So we finally needed the agreement among ourselves, so the 3 Baltic countries, and our synchronization is also happening via Poland and financed by the European Commission. So basically, to secure all those components, it took time. But we can just be happy that finally all the agreements internally in the region has been reached, and the European Commission also contributed, and our transmission system operators implemented the project successfully. So therefore, we now are part of that new system.
Let's name those key reasons behind the decision to exit BRELL and synchronized with the European network? And to what extent did war in Ukraine accelerate or influence this decision?
I would say, first of all, we were already under the different regulatory regimes. I mean, the Baltic States, the EU member states, and Russia, Belarus. So we already had some legal norms, like the legal acts, the laws actually, which forbid us to import the electricity from Russia. So therefore, practically, we didn't have much added value to stay in the system, which legally is obliged to assist us, but on practical terms, most probably this assistance could hardly happen. So, and if those obligations are also not fulfilled, for instance, so the disputes in any kind of a court would be also very complicated. We are simply in a different legal system.
In a different leagues.
In different leagues, in a different understandings and approaches, towards many different things, not only energy.
Okay, before that disconnection, Lithuania, Latvia, the Baltic States had some concerns, such as rising prices, power outages, and hybrid threats. So did that all materialize?
The electricity price, of course, it fluctuates, and it's very much impacted by a lot of different factors. Some of them are internal, some of them are global, some of them are short-term or the long-term. So I would say that, synchronization with the very massive and very reliable European continental network allowed us basically to invest more, to get even smarter and to get even greener. So now having such a large player behind our shoulders, we can invest more into the renewables, which of course needs some balancing services, let's say. But at the same time, we are creating those balancing markets together with other Baltic states. Now we have a joint balancing market, which allows us to mitigate some threats. And we are also improving the system. And now we have the trade happening in 1 hour, in 15 minutes instead of 1 hour, which means basically that we are in a better control of the balancing services. So all in all, what I want to say that the price fluctuates, and you can see actually when we have very extreme cold, so the price is going up.
Yes.
And when we have a generation, during the summertime or during the windy period, our prices are equal to zero or maybe sometimes even negative. So all in all, actually, the consequence we see that in the last year, we installed the biggest amount of the renewables since our independence. We are really generating the biggest share of electricity, also looking back into the past. Now the internal generation is at the highest level. And the price level we're going to see. We, of course, understand the challenge of the balancing when leaving one system, joining another one. But we are looking for smart solutions, and I hope that actually this issue will also be solved successfully.
Okay, again, coming back to those concerns, those concerns were related not only to energy prices, but also to some hybrid threats. Did that materialize in any way?
For me, it happened to see the report where it says that Lithuania is among top 15 countries so what regards the cyber attacks in the world. So actually, we are attacked constantly each day, and therefore we are strengthening our resistance. So there is nothing new, I would say, here, that we are fighting a hybrid warfare and informational cyber attacks. And maybe in the future, maybe even some other kind of attacks, becomes our daily, job and responsibility. It means that actually we will have to invest further. That's for sure.
By the way, when we talk about hybrid warfare that is used against Lithuania, where is energy market standing there?
The energy market and all the electronic platforms, if you mean, actually, yes, they are being targeted. You can ask actually the cyber specialists, and maybe they can provide more details. But what's important for us is a question if we do our homework, if we really invest into the cybersecurity, into the physical security, in the preparation of our specialists, we should be building the resilience from all kind of angles. So I would say that, we do have the understanding that we are the target, and therefore, basically, we prepare our systems. We are strengthening both the cyber security side and the physical side. So we are building fences. We are investing into the anti-drone systems and all that stuff.
That's good to know. Okay, again, 1 year after leaving BRELL system, what can you say about system stability and any technical challenges that have emerged throughout this last year?
I wouldn't stress technical challenges. I would stress the progress. I would say that we really become much more self-sufficient. We produce much more electricity in comparison to what was before. We increased the diversification, so we really have much more renewables in our energy balances. So it's not only that we produce domestically, but we produce from renewables, which is also a good progress. Therefore, our dependency shrinked, also the dependency on other friendly partner countries, but still we were quite dependent. Now we produce a lot internally. And I would see that we are exploring other possibilities. So when we see that, synchronization with continental European network does not bring any significant risk to our system, so we are able to increase the capacity of Litpolink, for instance, which is developed for trade.
Lithuania and Poland.
Lithuania and Poland, yes. We have a quite large link, but quite considerable volume of this interconnection was reserved for these emergency cases, which means that it was not given for the trade. Now it's being open for the trade because it seems that the reserve, the balancing services can be secured in other different ways. So basically we are improving the possibilities to trade. And at the same time, I would say that we are becoming smarter. Finally, we have smart meters being installed in our flats. And this can be used. The smart meters are not only being installed for a simple measuring. Having the data, actually, you can provide more services. You can go further, basically, and maybe also to stimulate the people who want to get the electric vehicle, to have the charging possibility. So all these things, they really develop.
Can the Baltic experience serve as a model of energy independence for other European countries? And how should we define energy independence today? Is it about changing suppliers or about something more structural?
I would say it's first of all about becoming greener, about becoming smarter. Actually, we invent a lot of new things, as for instance using the solar and wind for balancing, using the batteries also for balancing our network. So at some point we can be an example for other European countries, as you say. On the other hand, I would say that we also have a lot of things to learn from other countries. So other countries,
what, for example?
Other countries are investing, in some complicated and cost-intensive technologies like the offshore wind. So the offshore wind is being developed in Poland, in Belgium, in Netherlands, in United Kingdom, in Germany, and we hope that this will finally come also to the Baltic States, Lithuania including. So becoming, greener, becoming smarter.
Especially with our Baltic wind, I guess.
As for instance, yeah, and this way basically we are contributing this very long-lasting goal of diversification, right? So diversify everything. The markets, the suppliers, the sources, the attitude as well.
What's your take? When will the Baltic states go totally green?
We have the goal, which is in our national energy security strategy. If I am not mistaken, so it's 2050. But on the other hand, if you look at our current generation balances, so we already generate from the green, as far as I remember, above 70% of all the electricity. So
that's a lot.
Well, yes, we still import something, but from the share which we produce ourselves, so the most of the generation comes from the renewables.
So I'm not mentioning one Lithuanian basketball club from Kaunas, but let's go green, everybody.
Sure, and from Vilnius we are playing football.
Exactly, okay. Thank you for joining us today, and I really hope to see you once again in our studio.
Thank you.
And I would like to remind our viewers that our guest for today was Arūnas Molis, Adjunct Professor at the University of Bologna. You're watching TVP World. Stay with us.